What is up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome into Alarm Fantasy Football. I'm Howard Bender. Andrew Cooper here by my side. The hardest working man here in fantasy sports right now.
I wish you weren't a liar.
Hey, now.
Burns.
No, Burns. Settle. But fresh off of creating full sets of rankings over at fantasyalarm.com, standard half-point PPR and full-point PPR, every position, the tight end yin-yang rankings that everybody loves and covets, right? All of that off of this. And now here he is, fresh off of the Quick Outs podcast, where he just broke down every NFL game this week with John and Pemba. Damn, Coop, you're everywhere.
Doesn't stop there, because right after this, I have 2 hours to wrap up my snap count article before I fill in for Jim Bowden on the SiriusXM show. So I'm just talking ball all day long, man. And the thing is, it doesn't feel like work because I'm doing what I love. I'm
kind of a big deal.
So we're having fun, man. We're helping you guys win leagues. I hope you guys are all either in the playoffs or this week you have a must-win situation, because must-win situations are where we thrive. Fantasy Alarm, we're like Bill Russell, dude. We have never lost a win or go home game, at least one not that we'll admit on the air. So get your questions in the chat now. We'll help you win your leagues. Simple as that.
Simple as that. I already see people in there. Skinny McKinney rolling in hot to round 3 of the Scott Fish Bowl playoffs this week. I've gotten so many messages from those who were cut. Nobody's messaging me being like, dude, I made it through. So thank you, Skinny. Appreciate that. But I keep getting the mopes, I missed it, but if Calvin Ridley just got a touchdown, it wasn't Parker Washington, I would have gotten in there.
Classic, yeah. All the Calvin, I've seen a lot of Christian Kirk posts, and that is tough, because he's been like the most reliable, milk toast player of all time. You think you can count on him. The moment you think you can count on him, that's when you've made a mistake in fantasy football. Because
milk toast, what a word.
Yeah.
What a word. Britt Flynn's in the house. What's up, Britt? How are you? Fatty McFat's here. Happy Wednesday. And yeah, we're gonna, we know the trade deadlines have passed, so it's like open season for whatever you want here. You got lineup questions you want to ask, you want, waiver questions that you still have. We'll take care of everything that you guys need. It's an important time right now during the season. A lot of people are sitting in a winner go home situation. So let's just get right down to it. Rex Timotheus in here. Happy Wednesday to you as well. Let's talk about what's going on in the news there. Mr. Noisy Keyboard, what are we typing? What do we got going on here? What's happening?
Sending you a message, dude. This keyboard, I don't know how it's getting picked up. It's the quietest one on the market. I literally searched.
It's because you're very eager. You're aggressive. I mean,
right. I'll ease up on it. I'll ease up on the keyboard, because
I do not see the question from Mile High Luke, Michelle, etc. So okay. I guess they were in here before the show started.
That's what I'm asking you. Okay, yeah. So when we get to questions, I'll pull them up, because I can pull them up. I can see.
Yeah.
them.
Well, you know what? We'll deal with those questions right now.
Hell yeah.
We'll hit that. Then we can talk about how excited we are about Zach Wilson as the starting quarterback for the Jets this week. Do I smell an upset? Anybody taking the Houston Texans?
Revenge.
I'm all anti-survivor pool, by the way. I don't care about survivor pools anymore.
Not anymore, right? Revenge. Yesterday was a survivor pool show. Revenge game, Zach Wilson against the Jets coaching staff.
There it is.
Right? Against the front office, win this game to spite them and hurt the draft picks so they can't. I've seen Adam Gase do it. Remember, he won that game and they're like, dude, you're fired. We can't.
Well, listen, Adam Gase needed to be fired.
I know he did, but they were like, then he starts winning games, which is the worst possible thing for the organization at that time. And they were like, dude, you got to get out of here, man.
He can't even lose properly for us.
You're fired.
Yeah, there it is.
Terrible situation in there. Don't want to do that. So what's Mile High Luke wondering, and what's Michelle got for us? What are we doing?
Yeah, so Josh Palmer, he brings up, he goes, where do you have him ranked if he plays? Now, I want to point out, first and foremost, John and Pemba brought this up last show. If he does play, he's going to be the most chalky DFS play, because he's minimum price. They didn't think he's going to play. So you got to make some Josh Palmer lineups in that case. But Howard, I got to ask you, if he plays, are you putting him in lineups over Jacoby Myers, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper in a very rainy atmosphere, and Deontay Johnson? He needs to start 3 players. So of those 5, 2 would go on the bench.
All right. So I still want to start Jacoby Myers. I like what he's got going on this week.
Yep.
Deontay Johnson, probably an intriguing guy to look at here. Who I know Garrett Wilson's one of them, and even with, I mean, you've got Zach Wilson. Maybe that could give us a little bit of a boost for him. But I kind of feel maybe I go Myers, Wilson, and then I go Palmer.
Yeah, I think so too.
For Palmer, it really is. They're going up against Denver. Surtain stays on the outside, but he doesn't really move around all that much. So, I'm not worried about him. They'll run Keenan Allen out of the slot. Palmer is really in line. I mean, they are so desperate. Go look at the watch list. I wrote it right there in the watch list over at fantasyalarm.com. The Chargers are so desperate for a wide receiver to replace Quentin Johnston, who gets no separation, has just been a massive disappointment right now. I'm not saying that Johnston can't get it at some point, but relying on him right now in fantasy and in reality for the Chargers is bad business. So I love that they opened the window here for Josh Palmer, and I will, if they deem him ready to go, if he practices this week, I am locking him in. I have him in the Greenwich Street Tavern League, which is a high stakes league. And no IR, deep bench. So I'm like, well, shoot, I'm going to keep Palmer here for a rainy day and just see what happens. This is my rainy day. He goes into my lineup. I am in on Josh Palmer.
Bingo. Yeah. I mean, Quentin Johnston, from real life and fantasy football standpoint, right now, he's basically DJ Chark, right? Like a guy that can't separate, can't catch. I mean, so how do you get the football to him?
But he doesn't have as cute a name to like play on words or songs or anything like that.
He's in big trouble.
So really, like, you got to bring something to the table there, Quentin. Something.
QJ Chark. Nah, you can't. QJ Chark. That's that could work.
Actually could work. Look at that. Look at you.
I will say this, Josh Palmer. So I'm going that way. And in deciding, don't start Deontay tomorrow. That game's going to be terrible. In deciding between Cooper and Wilson, the deciding factor.
Wilson over Cooper for me.
Yeah. Keep an eye on the weather just in case, though, because it's like, the storms in that area. If something clears up, you could switch it. But I'm with you. If both are bad weather games, go with Wilson.
Yeah. What is the general consensus on the East Coast right now with the weather? Because I'm looking at certain things, right? And I have a friend who may want to use the Baltimore Ravens in a survivor pool this week, but it's the Rams and they're coming to town and whatever. But if it's a crap weather game, like all of a sudden, like weird shit could happen there. So I'm looking at the weather on the East Coast, and I think from like Baltimore up to New York, we're looking at some storms coming in.
Yeah. So what I checked with our weather guy, and he actually says that it's not an East Coast storm necessarily. It's Great Lakes region is the problem. So it's coming down from that way, which, you got Cleveland area and obviously New York City and down to Baltimore. So you don't have to worry up here in New England. You don't have to worry down, in like the Carolinas and along that range, but anywhere up in that mix is supposed to be wet and windy. So it gets pretty gross. Michelle wants to know, please rank PPR Pollard, Mostert, Madison. So
I'll just right in that order right there.
Yeah, that's exactly how I had it.
That is exactly the order I want. Yep.
Tam wants us to pick two. Cook, I'm assuming James Cook, Jerome Ford, Khalil Herbert, Raheem Mostert, or Devon Achane. Are we doing it?
Nah, I mean, I'm starting Achane. 100%. 100%. You can't not start him. And listen,
start them both.
Are you starting both of them?
I think I might, dude. Ford needs to catch passes against. I don't hate Ford because he can still catch balls, but you can't really run on the Jags. I don't know. I think I would, man. James Cook's given up enough work. Like, if James Cook is going to split work with Latavius Murray and Mostert's going to split work with Achane, I think I just want,
hasn't Cook stepped it up though in the last 2 weeks since they changed the offensive coordinator? They got rid of Ken Dorsey.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I mean, he has gotten more carries.
That's the only thing is that I look at that and it's, I think they they're legitimately trying to see what they have in Cook. And I think that with the way Josh Allen has been turning the ball over, they want to, they want to put it into other people's hands. I mean, with the game on the line, you want the ball in Josh Allen's hands 100%. But throughout this game, get the ball into the hands of your playmakers and turn the ball over less.
What's
I
that
did. I
matchup?
think you described it. You were like, "Hey, where's your Collinsworth impression of them talking about
Yeah.
Josh Allen, the
Yeah.
turnovers?"
One of the great players in this game. Just every single thing about him is amazing, except for the one small, tiny, minuscule issue of him giving the ball to the other team all the time. Right? Yeah, that's the Collinsworth just sneaking that one in there in the praise for Josh Allen. Just one tiny
I
issue.
love it.
The arm punts, the regular arm punts from Josh Allen. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Now that I look at it, you're right. He's getting double-digit carries every week, 6 targets last week. So, all right, James Cook and HN, and it's tough to run on the Titans, and you also can't really catch passes on the Titans. So we'll go that way. Nico or Ridley? Nico gets the Jets. Otherwise, it would have been Nico no matter what. So, but Ridley also has a backup quarterback in a
He's got Beathard.
In a hurricane. Beathard in a hurricane makes me think that it's Nico.
I mean, if the weather is that nightmarish, I mean, listen, there's nightmarish weather in New York also. So, but I think I think I would actually end up going with Ridley anyway, even with CJ Beathard, because he is still the wide receiver one. They still have to get him. They still have to feed him the ball. And Nico's going to end up with like Sauce Gardner on him for a substantial chunk of this game, I'm sure. With Tank Dell out, you're going to end up, wheels up for Noah Brown owners, right? Against Michael Carter II out of the slot in weather where they might want to just shorten up the passing game. I kind of like that, but Nico going up against Sauce Gardner or even DJ Reed for that matter, probably not the greatest of matchups for me.
This crazy one, this Browns game on November 28th, it opened at the over-under was 40. And then on Monday, the over-under dropped after Monday night. The over-under dropped to 33 when Trevor Lawrence got hurt. And then when the news came out of the weather, it dropped down to 30.5. So for me, what we have to do is if the over-under goes back up to 33 or 34, that's telling us that the weather's out of consideration, and maybe you can consider them, but otherwise you just got to go Nico. Roster question. Roster 4. Playoffs trying for upside. Have Lockett and Deontay Johnson and doesn't start them. And then there's guys like Zay Jones, Shaheed, Hyatt, Woods, Parker Washington, all available. So you can roster 4. I'm keeping Lockett and Deontay Johnson. So add 2 of these guys at Zay Jones, Shaheed, Hyatt, looking for upside.
I mean, if you're looking for upside, and take the garbage time. I mean, listen, if Shaheed comes back and he's healthy, you definitely want him. Yep. Derek Carr finds him on deep passes. You know what? Jameis Winston will chuck it down to him a ton there. Hyatt, I think also, again, if you're trying to see what your talent level is going into next season, you have to make Hyatt a much more featured receiver. It's just like we were talking about with Jonathan Mingo, with exactly what the Panthers are doing with Mingo, right? It's like, I've got my you know what? I got an underdog pick. When we get to it, it'll kind of explain it even more. It all ties together, but nevertheless, Shaheed and Hyatt, Lockett and Deontay Johnson, those are the 4 that I want out of this group.
Bingo. Yep. And Tyrod Taylor might be coming back. So I'm with you 100% on those guys. Super Magnetar, awesome name. Has Derrick Henry and Spears on the bench. Should I wait and see for Monday or just start Zach Charbonnet and not worry about it? So he's concerned that here's the thing, Hunter, Derrick Henry, if he doesn't play, then you start Spears. So I actually am just going to wait. I don't like the matchup for Charbonnet's got the 49ers, brother. I'm just going to wait and start. I'll start Henry against the Dolphins, right? That sounds okay to me. And then if he's hurt, then we'll start Spears.
It doesn't get any more easy, and it doesn't get any better of an example of why you handcuff your running backs. You got a Monday night matchup. You've got both running backs. It can be a favorable situation because even if you think, well, Miami's going to game flow the ground game out, Spears is on the field taking checkdowns left and right. So, yeah, definitely. That's a beautiful. I like having that.
It's nice and easy. Yeah, good job.
That is why you are Super Magnetar.
The Super Magnetar.
That is why, right there. Thank you.
So okay, let's jump into some news, and those are all the questions that came in before the show started. Let's jump into some news, and then we'll get back into some questions in the chat after that. What do you say?
Let's do it. I can definitely get down with that. Where do you want to begin? Do you want to begin with all that great quarterback news? I mean, listen, all right. So Zach Wilson is playing this week. Josh Dobbs was named the starter there for Minnesota. For some
Happy.
reason, the Jags have not. They have not. Given up hope that Trevor Lawrence is going to play. They have not ruled him out yet. So, yeah, 2 bums back in, 1 guy with a bum ankle. What do you think?
There's 2 ways. So there's and we talked about this in depth on the last show, so I'm not going to go crazy on it. But there's the still fairly new but proven track record tightrope surgery, which Tua had it in college and came back the same month. Or Jalen Hurts. They both had it. One of them came back in like an absurdly quick time. The turnaround time on the tightrope high ankle sprain surgery is 4 to 6 weeks. So that's why they're not putting them on IR. They're not ruling them out for the season. Is that even if the injury is bad enough to have surgery, that surgery has a potential quick turnaround time. It's a very invasive surgery that involves putting like a cord in your ankle. But I mean, he's probably done for fantasy football purposes. That's why I'm not hanging on there. I think what they're thinking is if we can hang on and make the playoffs, if he does a tightrope surgery, he could be back.
Okay, so, good to know. Definitely good to know. Drop him.
I'm surprised Burns didn't hit me with the doctor, whatever that doctor drop is.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
There it is. Well, all right. Well, keep your big head mirror on and your white lab coat and doctor me this. Jonathan Taylor's availability. Shane Steichen said, we'll see.
Great. I mean, everyone's saying we'll see. These coaches is driving me nuts. Darren Waller going to play? They said we'll see.
We'll see.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Taylor, I'm hanging on. Because I'm terrified that I'm going to drop him. My opponent's going to use him against me down the road.
I'm not dropping him. No. You gotta just tuck him on the bench. If you can throw him onto IR, right? If you have a league that allows you to do that, then you have to do that. It's just a question of, the back and forth. Everybody's going to be like, well, I don't know. Do I start Zach Moss? Do I not start Zach Moss? I'll just say it right off the bat. Against Cincinnati, you start Zach Moss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%.
He's top. I mean,
even if Taylor comes back,
exactly.
I'm starting Zach Moss against Cincinnati.
Right. Yeah. At best, they're going to split the carries, yeah. So, if Taylor doesn't play, Zach Moss is, right now, assuming Taylor's out, I think I have Zach Moss ranked 2, 3 in my running backs. Like,
give him 3rd in the PPR score.
Yeah.
I was looking at that earlier.
That's right. Yeah. So I was looking around and I'm like, all these other bad matchups in all these games. You got this guy that going up against a team that again gave up 150 yards to Devin Singletary. Yeah, sign me up for that.
Yeah. Now, hit me with your thoughts here on Thursday night. It's not supposed to be a great game. We know it's not supposed to be a great game. Najee didn't practice yesterday. I haven't looked at it. I haven't seen the practice report from today. To see if he's back. But, break down this game a little bit because it's, obviously there are a ton of people who are looking to take the Steelers in survivor pools right now. Right? They're a big popular pick this week. So, you're the Pats guy,
Yeah, if it was Kenny Pickett, I think it would be a lock. Mitch Trubisky, the thing is, Trubisky's better than it's not like Tim Boyle here. Like this guy played a full season as a starting quarterback for an NFL team. Like he knows how to get ready for games. He knows how to play. So I don't think it's that bad. The thing with Najee Harris is this. If both Najee and Warren are playing, I do not like them because the Pats are quietly the second best team in DVOA against the run. Right. This team, if Judon and Christian Gonzalez were healthy, this team would be a nightmare for fantasy football because they would have a very good defense and a terrible offense like the Jets. Right. So I don't know. For me, I'm starting Zeke where I have to and trying not to start anybody else. It's not a good matchup for Frymuth, not a good matchup for the running backs. Deontay Johnson, your hands might be tied in some spots. I have a league where my biggest league, a 14-team league, as of this moment, I have Deontay Johnson on the bench. And I'm not starting. So just be very careful with this game. It's going to be bad.
Womp womp. Aaron Jones owners do not get good news when you hear that the Packers just signed Kenyon Drake to their practice squad. I don't know what's going on there. And that's a Monday night game, which makes it even more of a nightmare situation. But Coop, I do have some bad news for you. Brace yourself. You're going to be okay. It's just the practice window being open, but Dawson Knox, the practice window has been opened for him.
Oh, protect our hero, Dalton Kincaid, our savior, our white knight. Hold him dear, hold him close. I personally believe this is my so with these, you know me, Howard, I try to be like a robot if possible and leave my biases and my opinions and my hopes out of it and look at the matchups and look at the metrics and stuff. With stuff like this, you have to have an opinion. My opinion is that Dalton Kincaid will lose some snaps, but I think the majority of the snaps for Dawson Knox are going to come from Quentin Morris, who will go back to being a backup. Khalil Shakir will go back to what he was doing earlier in the year. So no more 80% snap share, more like 40 or 50 for him. And Trent Sherfield will be phased out. With most of the snaps for Knox coming from those players, I think Kincaid can keep his role and still be viable. So I'm still in, man. I'm still in on Dalton Kincaid, but you have to plan ahead. You have to plan ahead for the possibility. So that's where I'm at.
You're playing him this week, aren't you?
For sure. Absolutely. Everywhere I have him.
All right. Well, there we go. I like that. I don't really think Hayden Hurst returned to practice. I don't normally like to worry too much about guys who aren't practicing on Wednesday, but when you see somebody like Hurst and he is actually practicing on Wednesday, that is actually moving in the right direction. It's not a great matchup, but there are people, Coop, that live in a world where you start 2 tight ends in a 12-team league, and that means that a guy like Hayden Hurst does become startable in some situations, especially when our boy Trey McBride, he's out. It's a sad story. The bye week there for the Arizona team.
Yeah, no Logan Thomas. And Hayden Hurst is the best. All year he's been the best bet. So, for the folks out there that were relying on Tommy Tremble, who every once in a while has a hurdle or a rushing TD, it's sad state of affairs. But yeah, Hurst is the best option there. So.
All right. I want to shout it out here to our sponsors at Underdog Fantasy. Guys, if you're playing some pick'em contests, stuff like that, that you want to get in over at Underdog Fantasy. You can go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Right, or you could scan this QR code that's sitting right here, nice and all beautiful and pretty, and do yourself a favor, go over there, sign up, use the promo code ALARM. They're going to give you a match deposit up to $100 the first time you put in, and so also if you're doing it through Fantasy Alarm, we get this we have a very special if you do it through there, your first pick'em contest, you're going to have a featured player, and it's Najee Harris here, higher or lower than half a total yard. So really kind of funny on that one, Coop. The fact that Najee Harris hasn't practiced. He is a little banged up. You're going to have to wait and see what happens before finalizing this one here. Otherwise, you run the risk. You might have to go lower. I mean, listen, I think if you went higher and you registered or whatever and Najee didn't play, it would probably just be like a no bet.
Boy, yeah.
Right. Yeah. But, that's it's kind of funny. So, well, that's the promo guy there. So, we'll dive into that closer to Thursday's game as well. But let's throw him a couple of picks. Yesterday, you gave out Ezekiel Elliott. I gave out George Pickens. Who you got today?
Yeah, I'm going to go to a player that I'm rooting for and that I truly believe in. I think that a lot of people across the industry they're discounting. But Isaiah Likely, since Mark Andrews went down, he's playing the Mark Andrews role, right? And there are 3 defenses that are bottom 3 in both points scored against and DVOA. So basically, the strongest metrics we have on both cases, like the behind-the-scenes stuff matches up with the surface level stuff. So Isaiah Likely going up against the Los Angeles Rams. It's the Rams, it's the Bengals, and the Broncos that are bottom 3 in DVOA and points against. So it's a smash spot for Likely this week. The over under set at 40.5. The implied total for the Ravens is high. I think that Isaiah Likely is going to crush this week. So I'm going higher on the 28.5.
I love that, man. He's the cover boy for the DFS watch list this week. Super psyched about him. I just threw him back into a couple of lineups that I have going on. So feeling really good about that. I alluded to this earlier, and here you go. I'm going to talk about Adam Thielen. And one of the things that we're going to see and that you should expect to see, Adam Thielen is not a player who the Panthers are looking to build on. Like, you got him. They tried to win with him. It didn't work. You need to start looking at what your youth is and how you're going to move forward with your team. And that's why Jonathan Mingo gets the extra targets, right? Mingo saw double-digit targets. Adam Thielen, he had what, like 4 targets, 4 targets in this past week's game. That's why I'm a little concerned there. So Adam Thielen, 54.5 receiving yards. I'm going lower on that number here. I think he is being phased out of this offense. I mean, he'll still get a couple of targets here and there, but I'm already starting to lose interest in using him in season-long fantasy. And so for 54.5 receiving yards, I think we come in lower on that number.
Yeah. And we talk about outs. I mean, this is a guy, 33 years old, history of soft tissue issues, history of ankle issues. Not only do you get the out of him just underperforming like we believe, but I mean, if anything happens, you get that money too. So that's why historically going under is the way to go. It's not as fun to be the Prince of Darkness, but we're trying to make money here, right?
You know what, man? I'll be honest with you. Sometimes it is about being the Prince of Darkness. All right. You know what?
That's right.
Dude, I'm gonna start making that my friggin' entrance music. I'm done. Right.
Yeah.
You know what? Listen for my food for thought. And Fantasy Alarms, at the end of the Fantasy Alarm show on Sirius XM.
I'll be on the show today, buddy.
So will be on the show, so
I'll be there listening. Yeah,
he'll be able to check out that. But yeah, you guys can definitely do like that. All right. Any more news that you want to touch on here, Coop, or should we get to the chat?
Before we get to the chat, we got to hit on one last popcorn headline. And for folks that haven't seen it, Taylor Swift, and we have the quote. Burns, if you could pull that up. They asked Taylor Swift what her thoughts were on people that say that they're showing her too much on the broadcast. She said, "I'm just here to support Travis. I have no awareness of if I'm being shown too much and pissing off a few dads, Brads, and Chads." Oh, man. Dude, so the name Chad has been dragged through the mud for a while now. Dude, yeah. I feel like Brad, the Brads and the dads, myself included, are kind of catching stray bullets on this one. Like, come on now. You can hit the Chads, dude, but leave us out of it. Leave us out of it.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I know a few Brads. I know a lot of Brads, but I know a few Brads.
Do you think that you're talking about the Brads that would be upset that they show Taylor Swift at a ball game?
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. I know several Brads, though, who really don't care or who actually are like, oh, that's pretty cool. See, we like that. Like, that's the funny thing is, like, the people who I hang out with, the jam band people, we embrace it because it's music and, and it's just great to see like the crossover and whatever. There was a fish show in North Carolina last summer that was like a nightmare, storm, lightning, everything like that. They evacuate everybody. Everybody's being poured on. And there is the drummer, John Fishman, sitting there and he won't come off a stage. And he turned around. He was like, Taylor wouldn't leave. And everybody went nuts. Everyone went ballistic. And now all of a sudden you see all these T-shirts that it's the fish logo, but instead of saying fish inside the logo, it says Taylor Swift. Right? So I mean, cool, it's all. Dude. I mean, it's fun. It's cross promotion. It's exciting. Yeah. And so man, listen. I again, Chads, dads, and Brads. I mean, if you're getting pissed off about it, I mean, please.
I'll tell you this.
Doing anything.
I'll say this. Secretly, everyone loves it. Everyone loves it because you have one group of people that love to see celebrities, love to see Taylor Swift, and then you have another group of people that love to be pissed off about minor things.
That is
true. They love it. They want to be outraged, right? And hopefully someday I'll be able to give people enough things to be outraged about, and I'll provide that for them. We're doing our best. Sometimes on Twitter I do provide enough of that flame, but yeah, they love being outraged, so everybody loves it. It's good for everybody.
Is good for everybody. All right. Yeah. Well, listen. I mean, I lost a bet to Servo on the Better Sports Betting show, right? And so I had to purchase actual Taylor Swift, merchandise.
That is kind of a cool shirt, though. I'll give you that.
Right. Well, that was like, it was so funny. Shout out to Shannon Blunt, who's the ultimate Swiftie, but is also she's my manager and my fashionista. And so she was like, "Ooh, look at this one here. It's tie-dye. It fits your vibe." And I was like, "Done. Boom."
I'm hot trash, as we have said multiple times on this show.
She is not hot trash, Burns.
Was that AI? I will say, at least she's not dressing you like that other guy she likes there, the watermelon sugar guy. I can't remember.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. If she's a fashionista, you got to be careful because I know she's a big Harry Styles fan for sure.
She is. Listen, if I everybody knows I can't pull off that, right? Like this is Cobb. This is easy. This is hey, this is a dad shirt. This is like my dad takes me to Taylor Swift shows.
Yeah, there's
even
no
though I don't have a kid.
It's not bedazzled. There's no sparkles on that
There's
one.
no sparkles. There's no glitter. There's no rhinestones. Nothing. Doesn't say anything on the back. It's a simple tie-dye print.
Nice.
All right, let's get to the chat and we can skip the fashion stuff here. Oh, look, now all of a sudden I see Michelle's big question. So I get to like scroll up and get to Richard Solomon, who says he needs some help in some must-win positions. And then he goes radio silent for a little while. No, there he is.
There's Richard.
There you go. Need your help in some must-win positions. 12-team PPR. Need 2 flex, 1 running back from these options. Javonte Williams, Rashee Rice, Jerome Ford, Zach Moss, Taylor Swift, DeAndre Swift, and Jaden Reed. All right, so good bunch of guys right there. I mean, let's pick I guess Moss is probably the running back that we got to pick first, right?
We're going to get Moss in for sure. And I'm also going to start Javonte Williams against the Chargers for sure.
Love that.
So those are the first 2. So the thing with Swift is people are worried about Kenneth Gainwell, but it was a very rare negative game script for the Eagles. You have to kind of decide, do you think that there's going to be a negative game script again versus the Cowboys? If so, I don't mind going Rashee Rice. I think Rashee Rice, it's hard to put him back in the bottle. So I think I would go Javonte, Moss, and Rice, but I could be sold on Swift.
Not Jaden Reed against the Giants on Monday.
No Christian Watson too, but I don't know.
Christian Watson, and they don't have the ground game that they want, right? They don't really have that versatility with AJ Dillon that they do with Aaron Jones. And if Aaron Jones doesn't play, they're going to use that versatility. Jaden Reed's going to get a rushing touchdown this week. You know what? I'll bet it. I'll guarantee it. Give me my where is my anytime touchdown?
You got to get
Jaden Reed.
But if you lose, you have to get a bedazzled Taylor Swift shirt.
Okay. I mean, I really don't care because I know he's getting into the end zone on a rushing touchdown this week.
Rushing touchdown. Wow.
Jaden Reed.
All right. Well, then in that case, since we are guaranteeing that Jaden Reed scores a rushing touchdown, if that's the case, then you would start Javonte Williams, Moss, and Jaden Reed. And I don't hate it because with Christian Watson out, you're going to get Dontavian Wicks on the outside, but Wicks is a fine showdown dart throw, but he's not going to get the full Christian Watson workload. It's going to be Dobbs. It's going to be Reed. So yeah, I'm in with it. Let's do it.
Yeah. I also, man, I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure how I feel about Rice against Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's not like, that typical wide receiver one, that you look at there. And so, it's like, all right, where are the targets going? It is a nice matchup for Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which is absolutely disgusting. Like, I feel like MVS and or Justin Watson is going to end up landing in the, in the dartboard this week.
Yeah.
I mean, MVS he's in the watch list. He's already there. I put it out there. I put that energy out there.
And you're right about the wide receiver one thing. The big thing for him is that like Michael Pittman, if they play 60 snaps, Michael Pittman's playing 59, right? Sometimes he plays 100% of the snaps. If you look at Rashee Rice, when they play 60 snaps, he plays 40. He still quote unquote leads the team, but nobody plays the whole game except for Travis Kelce. This past week, they ran 42 dropbacks. They ran 44 dropbacks. Kelce ran 42 routes. Rashee Rice only ran 31, and he led the team. They like to rotate. So you're right. He's not a true quote unquote wide receiver one, the way like Mike Evans is.
Right. Okay. So there we go. Listen, and I love Rashee Rice. You know me, man. Where's my SMU? Where's my SMU sweatshirt? Do I have to start wearing that too?
Mustang, baby. Let's go.
That's what happens. All right. Vito's here. He says, with Pitts being targeted 8 times last week, having Tampa Bay good against the run, should I pick him up in full PPR to cover McBride bye week or keep Likely? I also have London, who I might have to start. Thanks. Oh, I'm just Likely.
I'm starting Likely, yeah. But I will say with Pitts, honestly, for me, 8 targets is fine. but the more important thing was he ran 90% of the routes. So Pitts, he's still fine, but likely he's in a smash spot. I mean, we just talked about it in the underdog segment on why we love him. So it's likely still.
Yeah. Brandon's got 1 point PPR. Olave, Lockett, Nico Collins need to sit one. Well, it could be a Nico weather related kind of a sit there, right? Nico against Sauce and in the rain.
Yeah, I'm going to set Nico in the rain with Sauce and Reed. Most people don't have the luxury to have Olave and Lockett, but you do, so do it.
Hal's in the chat. What's up, Hal? Toronto Dave is here, and yes, we will shout out Josh Palmer from the greater Toronto area. Thank you, Dave. Always good to have you here. There was Richard's question. Raheem must start from Toronto Dave. Listen, I start him everywhere I have him. I never put him on the bench.
Who the heck has so many good players that they're benching Dolphins?
Raheem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's good.
It just feels wrong, right? Like, I get it. 2 weeks ago, he didn't really have a great game, and so we're back out on him. I mean, listen, yes, is Devon Achane going to probably start seeing, 60% of the workload? Sure, but you're still going to get 40% in this offense from Raheem Mostert, and dude gets into the end zone. So
right, and he has like a 70-yard touchdown in every season he's ever played.
Has he had his yet?
Not this year. Could it be the week? Maybe it's the week for the big one. We calling it? Are we doing hot takes? That's my. You got the.
I'm already here on the record guaranteeing a Jaden Reed rushing touchdown and telling everybody to start Josh Palmer in his first game back.
It's so damn hot.
Well, here's mine then. That's mine then. Raheem must start 60+ yard touchdown this week. It's coming. The big one is coming.
The big one. I love that. All right. We'll pull those. Where's that promo video?
Get it going. Fired up, dude. Not scared at all.
All right. How's in a PPR? Needs to sit either Puka, Kyron Williams, Javonte Williams, or Joe Mixon. Well, I'm definitely not sitting Joe Mixon against the Colts.
No, can't. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
And we've already gone gaga over Javonte in this matchup against the Chargers.
I think I just start all 3 running backs.
Sitting Puka. He's banged up.
He's banged up, and the Ravens are pretty good against the pass. Just start. Running backs are awesome. Start all 3 of them.
All right. Oh, Richard Solomon's got another league. Here we go.
Okay.
Needs 2 running backs and a flex from these. Eckler, he's killing me. Swift, Mixon, Jacoby, Noah Brown, Javonte, Sutton, also Fields over Goff. Thank you, guys. All right. So there's a lot to unpack here. And, first and foremost, again, this is kind of going in the lines of, what my food for thought's going to be and everything like that. Folks, you wouldn't be in this mess with Austin Eckler if you just listened to me. I gave it to you in the beginning of the season. I gave it to you before the season even started. So Austin Eckler wouldn't even be a consideration for me because he wouldn't even be on my team. And can we also talk about Courtland Sutton? Can we also find out who the hell kept telling everybody to pick up Courtland Sutton, to draft Courtland Sutton in the 10th round, to the guy who's like 37 yards away from hitting the over on his receiving yards prop for the season, career high in touchdowns right now? Can we just, who gave you that? I did.
What's up, dude? It's free real estate, right?
I'm done with my rant.
Yeah, no, it's that's the thing. There's certain things we're not going to get everything right, but you lean into enough of it, you're going to be all right. Now, with all that said,
it's not even a question of leaning into enough of it. It's identifying certain situations. Yes. Are there certain situations that I get wrong? 100%. I remember getting fish hooked into Mike Davis years ago. Oh, well, he took over McCaffrey and he was so good. Now he's going to be featured in this offense. It was garbage. It was a terrible take by me. And I'll always, you always remember the bad ones there. But You know what? In this situation here, I've given you the research. I've told you what to expect. We've watched it the entire time. And it just boggles my mind. Like that, these were flag plants, dude. These were flag plants before the season started. So to see this kind of turn out, and there was actually some dude who tweeted at me, and shout out to him. I think his name is Michael Quaid. And he tweeted out to me. He's like, I'm listening to Sirius XM right now, and people are sitting there trying to figure out what's wrong with Austin Eckler. Even today, you told us all before this even started. So so right there. I mean, listen, I love you, Richard. I do, but you shouldn't be in that Eckler situation.
Now, all that being said, would you bench Austin Eckler, or do you just?
No, not this week. No, this week
you just got to lay in it. So for this team, I think I'm going to start. Me personally, if this is my team, I might just start Eckler, Mixon, Javonte. The question to me is Mixon or Sutton, because Sutton is just a touchdown factory.
Yeah.
And Mixon's got a now, banged up QB. He's got the Colts though, so I think I just go Eckler, Mixon, Javonte. To be honest,
Eckler, Mixon, and Javonte is the trio that I would use as well. And I love Sutton, I really do. 10-team leagues, it's difficult, right? In 12-team leagues, he's all he is. You know what he is in 12-team leagues to me? He is my locked wide receiver 3. I don't sit him. I don't need to sit him, right? I've got 2 wide receivers in there who are routinely, bigger, higher upside, whatever, marquee names there. But Cortland Sutton is as steady as it comes this year. It really is. So, but yeah, there you go. Running backs there. All right. Tom Vila wants to know Thielen or Ridley.
Yeah, that sucks. I think even though we're going
both of those guys today.
I know,
yeah, that's you.
Ridley versus the Browns in the rain with a backup quarterback. As much as we don't like Thielen this week, I can't start Ridley backup QB against the best defense in the league in a tropical storm. So I'm going to start Thielen and hope he scores a touchdown, because I don't think he's going to be racking up yards.
It definitely will not be racking up yards. No. Michelle says, thanks so much for all the help here. And on X, you guys have both contributed to my success this year for sure. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. Hal wants to know how you guys value 2024 1-1 versus the 1-2.
Depends if it's super flex or not. Because if it's not super flex, I want Marvin Harrison's kid real bad on my team. And I value the 101 a lot higher than the 102, because I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm thinking about that one player is what I want. Because in Dynasty, good wide receivers like that, they hold their value for so long. The age apex is 27 to 29 years old. So if you can get a guy like that's going to be like a Justin Jefferson, that's going to be in your lineup every week for a decade, you got to do it. So I actually, in this particular draft, if it's not super flex, I have the 101 valued a lot higher than 102. I would trade the 102 and the 103 for the 101. I'll say that right now.
Perfect. There you go. The 1-1 is what you covet. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. or bust.
Yep. That's where I live.
You know what? That's a pretty nice house that you have there. I don't mind that. Do you mind if I hang out in the guest room, nap on your couch for a little while?
Come on in. Yeah. I mean, his dad's Marvin Harrison, so he grew up in a nice house, I imagine, right?
All right, Anthony's got Lamar, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Keaton Mitchell, Jalen Warren, Saquon. Start 2 running backs. Thanks, guys. Well, I'm definitely starting Saquon.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I would start if
Najee's out, you like Warren.
If Najee's out, you like Warren. And if you don't, then I'm starting Keaton Mitchell, because I don't like starting guys against the Pats. The Pats are just a fantasy football black hole, man. They slow the game down and they have a good defense. And that's why the over-under is 30.
There you go. Let's see. Rex Timothea says, I can't start Moss this week unless I'm going crazy. He's up against White, Pacheco, Javonte Williams, and Swift with only 3 starting. All right, so pick 3 out of that.
Start Moss over all those guys.
Moss. I'm on Moss, Pacheco, and possibly Javonte here. Yeah. Would probably go with White only because he's the only game in town and he does get the work.
Right. If you're like the favorite in this matchup, I think I maybe just go with White for safety purposes. But I think it's Javonte. I think you got to start Moss, dude. If Jonathan Taylor's out against the Bengals, you have to start Moss. It's Moss, Pacheco, Javonte. Yep.
Moss, Pacheco, Javonte. Like it. Yep. Practice window open for Palmer. Yes.
Yeah,
Here we go. Ryan Volt's in the house. What's up, Ryan? Good to see you again. Godwin or JSN this week? First week of the playoffs. Godwin's been killing me.
Yeah, dude. Kevin Tompkins is like in my ear selling me on JSN, and it's kind of working. It's kind of working. It's kind of working, man. I think they're going to have to throw in that matchup. You can throw on the 49ers. The over-under of that game is 46.5. I think I go JSN.
Gotta go JSN.
Sucks because I like Godwin. I like him. He seems like a good guy. Every time he catches a pass, he donates money to like this like dog shelter. It's easy to root for Godwin, but I got to be JSN. Got to go upside.
Got to play with your head, not with your heart.
I know.
Half point PPR. Pollard, Moss, Kyron Williams, Derrick Henry need to start too.
Pollard and Moss.
What's that?
Pollard and Moss, I think, right?
Pollard and Moss. Yeah. Because I don't know really what Henry's deal is right now. And Kyron going up against the Ravens is kind of a tough spot there, even in the rain.
Yeah.
Pollard and Moss for me.
That's how I have it ranked. For sure.
Cup or Debo?
Whew. I actually
Debo matches up nicely once again in this game against the Seahawks. He tore him up 2 weeks ago.
I'm starting Debo. That's game. The implied point total for the 49ers this week is like insane. Because it's a 46.5 point over under. They're favored by 10. What is that? That implies that they're going to score a minimum 3 touchdowns. I'm going to go Debo.
Debo for me as well. He's in the watch list. There you go. Where am I going? Oh, here we go. Half point PPR start 1. Sutton, Rice, or Flowers? Sutton for me against the Chargers,
especially in half PPR. Touchdowns become much more valuable in half and standard.
Yeah. PPR from Hal is likely a flex-worthy play 12-team league. I think so. Potentially.
Depends on what else you have, as always, but I don't see why not. I think I have him like tight end 6.
Is Amir Smith Marset worth a stash in Dynasty?
No.
Yeah.
He's already released by a team that could have. He was released by a team that went out and drafted wide receivers. He was with the Vikings and then got picked up by the Panthers. I was hoping that the reason that he fell in the draft was because of character issues. He had a DUI and he hurt his back doing a flip into the end zone in college. So I was thinking to myself, I have him in a few leagues because I was like, maybe this guy is good at football, but he fell because of character issues. But actually, now I don't think he's that good at football. You could drop it.
All right. I love this is one of the things why I love the chat, because it's not just all about, who do I start sit here. Hal wants to know why people choose sadness. Don't get mad at things that are for fun. Exactly.
Right.
Rushman thinking, hey, how much did the NFL pay her to go to cold, boring Green Bay? I got to be honest with you and tell you, I think she does it on her own.
Money doesn't matter. It's not about money for her. She got plenty of money, dude.
She's a woman who donates billions of dollars, right? So she's not donating millions of dollars. She's donating billions of dollars. So right. I don't see that being there.
She's going to support Travis. That's it. So she said it herself.
And Richard Solomon wants to make sure that I know that the Fish's 420 show is at the Sphere in Vegas.
No way.
You want to get high?
Oh my God. The Sphere is so crazy looking. That thing is, dude, the Fish fans with that thing, that is going to be fun, man. That is going to be fun. Oh, yeah. Blue balls in the parking lot or whatever the heck goes on there, right? So,
yeah, it's going to be a good time.
You going to that?
Of course I'm going to that. I'm going to all 4 nights. What
am I even?
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting everybody on notice right now. I will need full shift coverage on SiriusXM and here at Fantasy Alarm for April the 18th through the 22nd, I believe, because I'm going to put a couple of days on either end since it's Vegas.
You're fired.
I'll do a day if we don't have to talk baseball. I'll go on and talk about the combine.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm sure Jim would love that. Let's get back to the chat here. Wicks is better than Watson, available and comparable. Ooh.
Wow.
You know what? I mean, listen, if it's deciding between Justin Watson and Dontavian Wicks with Watson out, I'm in on Wicks.
No, I think he's talking about Christian Watson.
Oh, is better
on the like as in Dontavian Wicks should just flat out start over Christian Watson.
Yeah, well,
that's why that's a hot take.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. The Packers, they're such a kind of a weird homegrown organization. It's not crazy. It's not crazy talk.
Kyron Williams or Jerome Ford?
I'm going with Kyron. You can't run. You have to catch passes against the Jaguars. You cannot run on them. And I think I was just going to go Kyron. He's got the full job. Kareem Hunt is kind of lurking around there. I don't like it.
Thoughts on Keaton Mitchell this week? What running backs would you start him over? So you said it actually. You got word on that. Where are you at with Keaton Mitchell? I mean, listen, I like the matchup here against the Rams. Right? I mean, he's gonna, share that workload. Where do you have him ranked?
There are about 30 guys. There are exactly 30 running backs I would start over Keaton Mitchell because Gus Edwards takes the goal line and so does Lamar Jackson and Justice Hill mixes in. So like I'm starting anybody that's a full-time guy, regardless of matchups. So the Rashad Whites of the world, the Alexander Madisons of the world, the Kyron Williams, they're all going to be ahead. And then after that, I'm looking at matchups and I don't love the matchups. So it depends what you got. I would start Charbonnet even. If Kenneth Walker's out, obviously, AJ Dillon, even like I don't love Keaton Mitchell. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm too low on Keaton Mitchell. What are your thoughts on that? He's a fun player. Like that's what tricks us.
Yeah, he can. He's got the explosiveness to break a long run, and we've seen him, kind of pop off a little bit here. But again, it's a matter of how they're running the offense, and they like the plodding nature of Gus Edwards, and they're going to continue to plod like that with Gus Edwards. And so I think Mitchell to me is he's like a good between the 20s kind of guy, right? Where he can help move the chains and he can break one of those big runs. But, if you're looking for, somebody with a higher, red zone upside, then you got to go with Gus Edwards. Yeah, you could see Keaton Mitchell running one in for 25, 30 yards and into the end zone. Sure, that could definitely happen. But, once the closer you get into the end zone, the more that lives with Gus Edwards, I think.
Exactly. He's J.K. Dobbins, where it's like you watch the game and the whole game, you're like, man, this guy is awesome. And then you look at your fantasy matchup and you're like, where are the fantasy points? Right? Because he's not catching passes. He's not scoring the touchdowns. So an 80 yards rushing with no receptions is 8 fantasy points. So I don't know. I don't trust that guy.
All right, get your Twitch glasses on, Coop.
Where Brad the heck Twitch gang?
24 in the house. Here you go.
The Brads, the Chads, and the Dads are in the
Brads,
house.
the Chads, and the Dads are all here. He lost Ramondre, so he's starting Monty and Kenneth Walker. He's also got Gus Edwards. What are some cheap running backs you like this week? I need to win to get in. Keaton Mitchell, maybe? Well, I feel like we just kind of told you where we're at with Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah, if you're looking for cheapies that you might be able to find out there, Roschon Johnson, Matt, then this is obviously a coin flip. Matt Eberflus, in his infinite wisdom, came out and said that he decides who gets more carries based on how well of a week of practice they have, which is about the worst thing possible for fantasy football because he's not going to say to us, but hey, heads up, this guy had a good week of practice. I mean, if I hear him say so-and-so had a good week of practice, I might lean into that guy, but at least you're getting a coin flip. You know what I mean? Where he might be available. So I don't mind Roschon or Herbert. Just know that 1 week Herbert got all the work, and then the week after, Roschon apparently had a good week of practice. So he got 74% of the snaps, and Herbert got 20. So know the downside, but cheapies, he's out there. The other one that I don't mind is Latavius Murray because he's a moose, and he gets some pass work too. So he's getting high leverage plays. He's like the opposite of Keaton Mitchell. He's catching passes and he's scoring goal line touchdowns. So he's getting all these fantasy points on like 20 snaps.
All right. Listen, he says he's starting Monty and Kenneth Walker, and then up above he says something about or Javonte Williams. So if you're looking at that trio of running backs right now,
You don't have to worry about anyone I just named. I probably should have scrolled down.
No. I'm asking, like, if he's asking like who to start, he says he's starting these two. Would you start, like, I'm saying, Monty and Kenneth Walker, okay, and if you got Gus Edwards on the bench, you're kind of wondering stuff like that. I'm also kind of, just wondering if Brad also needs a little start sit advice here.
Yeah.
Like, if he's starting Monty and Kenneth Walker, would you start Javonte over either one of those guys?
I
The
would.
answer for me is yes in one of them.
Yeah, it's Kenneth Walker, right?
Yeah.
Because Charbonnet's showed enough that he can handle the pass work. So, yeah, I'm with you. Monty and
Javonte. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, we're going to have to rapid fire it here. We are running short on time. Shout out to Robert Flores. Those are all of my hashtags right there. Good guys finish last. Love me less. Prince of Darkness. Taylor Swift. Hell freaking
Big
yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Adam McFats likes the rant. I'm glad. Ricky AA needs Will Levis or Desmond Ritter for the next 3 weeks. Gross.
Will Levis, man. Desmond Ritter stinks, dude.
All right. Would you start Beathard over Devontae Adams, Michael Pittman, or DJ Moore?
That's a super flex question.
I'm assuming it's got to be a super flex question.
And the answer is I would start Michael Pittman.
There you go. What about over Kamara, Kyron Williams, Ford, Javonte, or Mixon?
No. It's supposed to be like the weather's supposed to be so bad for that game. 30.5 point over-under is the lowest we've seen in 30 years for an NFL game. The over-under for that game in the Patriots game is about the same as the over-under for the Navy-Army game that's at Gillette Stadium this weekend.
And those teams don't throw the ball at all.
They run like
a triple option versus a quadruple option.
Triple out wishbone. They run like
I run 4 plays. They're all Vias.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Rapid fire. Rashad White or Nico Collins?
Rashad White, Nico Collins, terrible matchup. In the rain, backup quarter. Oh no, it's still Stroud, but it's the Jets in the rain.
Superflex 1-2 Dynasty is the first spot you look at for Harrison Jr. Superflex Dynasty, who's your first pick?
Caleb Williams.
It is Caleb Williams. There you go. So number 2 would
be
be
number 2 is Drake May. If quarterbacks go 1 and 2 in the draft, those are always my 1 and 2.
Okay.
Superflex. Yes, quarterbacks too valuable. They're too valuable.
All right. Nico Collins is still a must start this week against the Jets. It depends on who your options are there, James.
Not must.
Depends.
Not must.
Taysom Hill or Dalton Kincaid?
Mods, remove Grumpy from the chat. It's always Kincaid. It's always Kincaid. We don't got time, Burns. We're in rapid fire. Shut it down.
Yeah. In a 2 running back, 1 flex, 12 team, Javonte, Keaton Mitchell, Achane, Olave, DJ Moore. Need 1 wide receiver, 2 running backs, and a flex. Is it crazy to play Mitchell and Achane over Javonte and leave a wide receiver in at the flex? Yes, that is crazy. I would not start Keaton Mitchell over Javonte or Achane at all. I'm locking those 2 guys in as my running backs right off the bat here.
Yeah, I'm gonna start Olave with JMO.
There you go. And if no love for DJ Moore,
I like DJ Moore too. I like them both.
92 yards and a touchdown the last time they faced Detroit.
I like
2
both.
weeks ago.
I like both players. I just like one a little more.
He likes Olave a little bit more than DJ Moore. There you go. Traded Jalen Hurts for Lamar and Puka after Tank Dell got injured. My second QB is Geno Smith. Thoughts on this trade?
It's
super
good.
flex, half point PPR.
It's super flex.
Yep.
Yeah, you can get away with it. If Puka's gonna be in your lineup every week now. So
yeah, there you go. Taylor Swift can own a team or 2. The NFL can't pay her squat. Yep. Don't knock Green Bay. Not knocking Green Bay. Love Green Bay.
I'd love to go, man. That's like bucket list stuff to go to a game there.
Oh, it's on my bucket list, and somebody from SiriusXM called in already and offered me his season tickets because my bucket list is being in Green Bay in December, right? In the snow, painting, no shirt, bucket list. Ooh, he's cute. Who's he? There it is. There it is. Finally, let's wrap things up here. Brad was asking if he should trade for Javonte Williams. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what the offer is, Brad.
Yeah, his usage has been good lately. He's getting virtually all the carries, and he's run more routes than P. Ryan and Julian McLaughlin in the last 2 weeks back to back. So it looks like they're really leaning on him.
All right. And there we go. That's going to do it for us here on the show. Big thank you to everybody for tuning in, hitting that like button, that subscribe button. This is how we keep going here over at Fantasy Alarm. And if you love the content here, go check out fantasyalarm.com. For Andrew Cooper, I'm Howard Bender. Big thank you to Brian Burns. We'll catch you next time.
Adios, turd nuggets.